Hey everyone, my name is Jamie and this is a Darkout Premature evaluation. I give this game a thumbs in the middle due to the fact that it's still in beta, as you can see from the bottom left hand corner of the gameplay window. But don't get me wrong, I very much enjoyed the game, but there are a lot of things that they could add or change to make it better. I'm basing this review off of about 4 to 5 hours of gameplay, but I do want and expect to play this game more in the future. Darkout is a RPG sandbox, and it incorporates a lot of strategy in it. I compare this game to a cross between Terraria. It has the mechanics of Terraria and the sci-fi-ish-esque darkness as to Limbo. It reminds me a lot of Limbo as far as the darkness and emo likeness it has to it. It was voted into the Steam Greenlight, but it has not been made available on Steam yet. And basically you start off with your space pod crashing into this world of darkness, and you need to gather resources and craft furniture and weapons to survive. And the setting is obviously a dark world where enemies spawn more at night, and all of them have a sort of darkness to them, and all of them are sensitive to light except maybe the jellies, which you will probably see, and they're the most common enemy throughout the game. The more light you create, the least likely enemies are to spawn or come near you. And when I found out about this game, I had never heard of it, though I did do some research and found out it was developed by a company called Algraph, which is a UK-based indie studio, and they started development in 2011 and have been in open beta since February of this year. The things I like about this game: the graphics. As you can see, this game is very visually appealing compared to the fact that the mechanics are so similar to Terraria and even Minecraft, and those games are not as visually appealing, obviously. And when you first start off, you get a tutorial, and the tutorial really helps you start off in this game, because it is different compared to the other sandbox RPGs that I've played. There are several different biomes, just as here's the jellyfish that I was talking about. There are several different biomes, and I have only come across a couple of them. Why isn't this working? There we go. The biomes are beautiful, though. I've looked them up, and the few that I have seen are gorgeous. The jungle, the outlands, and there's caves, just to name a few. And when you mine and dig, you gain these research points. And you use those research points to learn an ability or learn a craft. And I really like that aspect. It actually reminds me of a feature in a game called Rust, which is in alpha mode. However, that's something that aspect was not something I figured out until a couple hours into the game. The game's tutorial did not include that. The trees and the plants respawn. That's another thing I enjoy when you die, and they're not in the exact same place, but they just randomly respawn when you die and when you leave the game and come back. You can mine crystals and minerals as well. Those come and spawn in caves. And I haven't found any myself, but I do know that they exist because I've researched the game. And just as Minecraft has redstone to create circuits, Darkout has wiring to create light sources. And I never got that far into the game, but I found that wiring can be found from looting the city biomes or crafted from rubber and copper. Things I dislike. You've probably already heard the sound, but the sound when gathering objects is so annoying and distracting even. The controls are a bit confusing when you first start, especially when you're used to controls like Terraria and Minecraft. And I just died. That's another thing, is you die rather quickly, and there's no easy mode, and it's all one difficulty, and it's not something there you can change the difficulty. The initial tutorial is pretty awesome, but the tutorial itself, not the game, did freeze, and I had to restart a few times. But I do know that this game is in beta, so I'm not docking the developers on that. It's just a observation that I made. Let's see if I can actually kill a jelly. Not like I don't know how to kill. There's a lot of figuring out yourself in the game. I dislike that. I always think that games should have a clear objective. And as I said when I was explaining the likes, that there are a lot of different biomes, but I've only come across a few of them, and it's either that they aren't generating, or I'm not exploring enough or far enough. Oh. I really can't stand this. Those things are kind of creepy. those enemies are really creepy. And I really can't stand this about these type of games, although I don't mind it because I game a lot. You have to have a wiki in order to play this game effectively. This game, even though it's still in beta, does have a wiki, and I've used it quite a few times since I started playing. But there are some updates the developers are planning on making. One being that there will be multiplayer, which I find interesting. Terraria and Minecraft also have this, and I assumed that this would happen, and when I read it, I wasn't surprised. Developers have also said that they will extend the light versus dark mechanics and actually make it so these nasty little creatures can actually destroy your light sources. Oh, really? You just teleported right in front of me and killed me. There will be an update to include its first boss, which they're going to call the Brute, and so I'm excited for that, which is a lot like Terraria. Minecraft doesn't have bosses like that. And although I gave this game a thumbs in the middle, it has potential for a super high thumbs up for me, especially if they implement the updates that they were saying, and I would really appreciate a clearer objective. And I really enjoyed it, and I hope to revisit this evaluation in the future. We'll link the purchase site in the description. The game is $9.99, and I believe that price is definitely worth it, especially if you don't have to repurchase it once it comes out, the full version comes out. And we really appreciate you watching the video, and make sure you game on, and I'll see you next time.